Yeah.
Do you understand? They even had to relocate for them to be able to work on their family. The place of attraction, right, is a minor. It is a it is what happens when a baker bakes a cake on occasion and decides to design it in a specific way.
Yeah.
The design is not a cake.
Yes.
It's not
It's
even
not,
the
yeah.
main reason why you have a cake. It is just an added feature to be visually appealing.
Yeah.
You cannot eat a design and be
You
satisfied.
can't eat ice.
So you cannot make. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You cannot make it a decision marker that is primary
Yes.
to such a life-changing decision. And why is it life-changing?
Because a lot of
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Belt 91. Quick one. Is attraction minor when it comes to marrying? Is attraction minor when it comes to marrying? I'm here to tell you it's not minor. It's a major. Even when you look in the Bible, there's always a descriptor of the woman that the man ends up marrying. Rebecca, she was a voluptuous, curvy woman. Rachel, difference between her and Leah. Leah was pretty, but Rachel had the figure and the looks. When you look at Sarah, she was a beautiful woman. That's why Abraham was afraid. David, Bathsheba. Okay, all right. There's always beautiful women that are usually mentioned in the Bible. Now, am I saying that you must marry someone, basically solely on attraction? No, that's the start point, though. And I think we in 2025, we're not in survival mode anymore. I think we need to be okay with people first and foremost finding someone attractive. I think in most cases, people can't do it where they're going to marry someone they don't find attractive. You know what I'm saying to you? And I've always said this: don't choose me. Do not choose me if you're having to struggle to find attraction towards me. It's a waste of time. You're going to waste my time. I'm going to waste your time. Okay. You're going to hurt me. I'm going to hurt you. I don't choose women just because I want to settle. I don't choose you because I like your bum and your breasts, because that's going to also be settling too. And a lot of men them do that, where they choose women based on bum and breasts. You don't like her face. And women too, you don't like his face either. You like his money. You like his security, his stability, his niceness. But really and truly, you don't even like his face. You look at his face and you're angry. Don't choose people like that. Don't force yourself into Cinderella's shoe. But look, I want to just list. I want to break down her particular point here. And again, I want to answer that question: how relevant is attraction when it comes to marrying somebody? I think it's very relevant. I think it's a starting point of any of the shenanigans that are about to happen after that point. We shouldn't let it dictate, though. It shouldn't be. It should be a start point, but it's not what defines you getting married. It is a start point. It is not what defines you getting married. Let's break down what she was actually saying a little bit earlier on.
In my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So Jesse and I were friends since 2011. We lost contact 2013. We gained contact 2014. We became friends. He asked me out in 2015. Told him I was interested. I didn't feel the same way. Our friendship crumbled, but our friendship came back again, right?
Now let's pause it right here. I didn't even watch this part of the video, so let me just say this first and foremost. Friends in 2011, friends in 2014, 2015. Let's be honest, you weren't attracted. I want to say it straight. Friends in 2011, 2015, 2014, you broke up friendships. He liked you, but you didn't necessarily like him. Friendship crumbled, yeah, because he wanted you, but you didn't want him. Why? Because you didn't find him attractive. We don't have to over spiritualize it. You didn't find him attractive. Let's just listen again one more time.
But our friendship came back again, right? And then sometime in 2016,
Sorry, let me go back slightly so you
we
can hear.
became friends. He asked me out in 2015. Told him I was interested. I didn't feel.
So friends in 2011, asked you out in 2015. That's 4 years he was waiting. More than likely, hopefully he wasn't settling either. But really and truly, maybe he liked you from the very beginning, didn't say nothing. Obviously, for her, in 2015, she turned him down.
The same way our friendship crumbled, but our friendship came back again, right? And then sometime in 20.
How does your friendship come back? It can't. Once a man tells you he wants you, there is no friendship comeback. No offense. There is no friendship comeback. There's no such thing. Once a man tells you, or a woman tells you they want you, there is no comeback. It's done.
2016, he brought it up again. And I remember that I was in my sister's house and she was telling me that I should make a decision instead of keeping this boy strike, right?
Yeah.
And to be very honest, I had no physical attraction to him. I didn't recognize that he was handsome. Maybe because our friendship was such a cool friendship that it was not something I was.
But you know what? I want to say this fair to the older generation. There's a different set of parameters for the older generation. You know what I'm saying to you? But let me be real with you. Okay, all right. Let me be real with you. This is my personal perspective, and again, I don't know their marriage, and I'm not trying to knock it. I always feel like when women don't actually find you attractive, they don't give you 100%. They can't. They can treat you kindly. They can love on you, but I always feel like they don't treat you kindly. I always feel like they don't give you the whole 100%. You ever seen a woman that's fully attracted to a man and how she behaves? When she's settling for you, you know, because she's struggling to do certain things, bro. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily this lady here. She might be an exception to the rule, but the reality is she's about to explain it, and it's about to be a contradiction. She's about to tell you that you know, for her, she needs for her, attraction isn't an important situation, but the reason why, but you weren't attracted to him in the beginning, so that theory can't even be tested, because if attraction is minor, then in reality here, you weren't attracted to him in the beginning. It sounds like you didn't make any, you weren't interested because you weren't attracted. So attraction isn't minor. And it seems like what happened is your sister spoke to you and said, sis, stop holding him hostage. Let him breathe. The man still wants you because you keep leaving the door open and you are saying you're friends, but you know that he is emotionally invested in you now. That's what it sounds like. I'm just keeping it a buck and keeping it real. Again, I'm not trying to shoot them. I think, you know what I'm saying? It's not about shooting. It's lessons for us to learn. Okay? All right?
Looking out for. Yeah. And generally speaking, at the time where I wasn't looking to have a relationship. Like, I wasn't interested, really. So I won't look at somebody and say, oh, this person is really attractive. I want to see something there. It's not my radar. It's not my mind. Because at the time, I just felt like what people needed boyfriends for at the time, I didn't have. So I didn't need.
Sis, it's not that you didn't have no need. Let's be real. It's not that you didn't have no need. At that point, he was not attractive to you. So you can't even force that situation anymore. It's like I don't want to see it. Yeah, have you ever been in a situation where you're not attracted to somebody? You don't even want to think about the future of them. You want to shut that movie right off. You know what I'm saying to you? Because you're not attracted to them. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yes, so I'm not proud or anything. I'm just saying, my experience. Yes. So when I was making a decision, because when he approached me, he told me he wanted a relationship to marriage. Yes. He didn't say, let's see where this is going. No, it's just like, this is my end goal in mind. Yeah. So I started asking myself, why? What are the reasons? Literally, I got a sheet of paper and wrote the pros and cons. Pros of saying yes. I know I can be like that. So I started to write down what a godly husband, according to scripture, looks like if he fits the bill. Because if he didn't fit the bill, there was no conversation. So after,
I will say I respect that. The fact that she wrote down a list of qualities that are essential to making sure she had the right type of man. I think that vetting process is amazing. I think it's a wonderful thing to make sure that person's in alignment with what you want as an individually. Now, I don't think this is an 80-20 situation. You know where sometimes someone says you got the whole 80, but let go to 20? Yeah, this ain't one of those situations. Attraction isn't a part of that 80-20. Attractions are non-negotiable for me. A non-negotiable. Now, I do believe that some people say, women say they can grow in attraction. I hear it. But for me personally, it's a non-negotiable. You see what I'm saying to you? Non-negotiable.
Writing my list, my pros outweigh my cons, and I use that to make a decision. Wow. Yeah? I think maybe a few months into the relationship, maybe like 6 months or so, I just say, okay, it's like this boy is fine. Have you seen PJ's old pictures? I have. So
yeah, see, this is what I'm trying to say to you. Look, she's letting you know. Listen, that man back then was not a fine bubble. Okay, he was not a fine man. I was marrying him because of the pros and the cons. And let's keep it real. I'm not mad at it. The pros and the cons are that he offered more than he was offering something that she could get behind, security and stability. So this situation, she wasn't trying to even engage with it until she was forced to make a decision. This shouldn't be your life. Can I be honest with you? This should not be in your life in the Western society, 2025. This should not be your decision, your life. It shouldn't be. If you're not feeling them, let them go.
Just know that God has helped you. Do you understand? Yes, God has helped us. Even though you see some of my throwbacks, do you understand? Why would I make that kind of decision? Yeah. My background, my parents were marriage counselors for 40 years. So I have seen them walk families through different issues in marriage. And one of the fundamental issues is this matter of attraction?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that are asking this question, they're asking it because they're not asking it from hindsight. They're not in marriage looking back and asking.
Yes.
They're asking because they have no idea, a glimpse of the impact of this quotient in this equation into the marriage. So we had a counseling my parents were doing, and the wife had just put to bed. She had gained postpartum weight. The husband had zero attraction for her. Do you know what it means for a woman who just put to bed, is still healing, still that needs support? Now having to deal with the fact that her husband is always complaining that she's not attractive enough. Like, it's.
Can I be honest with you? If that man, the example they're given, this is what I've also learned. If that man really liked his wife and she gained weight postpartumly, what needs to happen is emotional reconnection. Because what's actually been stolen is not attraction. And I heard this said, and I was like, wow, it makes sense. It's emotional connection. Because as much as men will tell you that they're physical, I will tell you I'm physical, we also are very emotional. And what actually happens is when the physical matches with the emotional connection. So once the emotional connection also starts to wane, where you start to not feel safe, you don't feel like as loved, you don't feel desired, you don't feel as respected, you no longer are the priority, attraction starts to wane because you also start to fear the person doesn't revere you and respect you in the same manner. For men, admiration is one of the biggest traits when it comes to attraction of feeling this strong urge for that woman. So if you feel like, and it's a feeling again, it feels like, doesn't mean it actually is, because your feelings are not the truth, it's perception. If you feel like the admiration and the reverence and the respect isn't there, not because she's disrespectful, but because now it seems like all her energy has gone towards the child is now the number one priority, his attraction starts to wane. And he's now not looking through, oh, my wife has just given birth, postpartum, What he's looking through is, hey, I've been left out in the cold, and what about me? Now, you may sound selfish, but the reality of the situation is that's what it is. You know?
Damaging to the soul, is damaging to the person's perception. You know, it took years for her to regain her self-esteem.
Yeah.
Do you understand? They even had to relocate for them to be able to work on their family. The place of attraction, right, is a minor. It is what happens when a baker bakes a cake on an occasion and decides to design it in a specific way.
Yeah.
The design is not the cake.
Yes.
It's not even the main reason why you have a cake. It is just an added feature to be visually appealing.
Yeah.
You cannot eat a design and be satisfied.
You can't eat icing.
So you cannot make. Do you understand what I mean? You cannot.
I don't know what cake you lot are eating, but I'd definitely be eating the icing. And when the icing is trash, that can throw off the whole cake. I don't know about you, but the icing is important, my guy. You know what I'm saying to you? Now, the cake is very important, and the cake can stand on its own. But what makes a sexy cake is the icing, is the outer layer, is the dressing that's been added to that cake. You can't take that away from the cake. That's what adds another level to the cake. So the cake can be nice on its own, but the level gets increased with the outer shell.
Make it a decision marker that is primary to such a life-changing decision. And why is it life-changing?
Because a lot of us forget that the context of this conversation is marriage.
You're not going to stop taking a shoe for
an event.
That's not what you're doing. You are making a decision based on your opinion on somebody else's life.
And I totally hear what she's saying. She's absolutely right. The weight of gravity of making a choice about who should marry, we should not be making it lightly. Like, it's a lot. Just like having a baby is a lot. Okay. Now, what's really important about this is I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, doesn't mean it's the truth. She has her truth, and it's my personal opinion. I feel like she is rewriting history to make it make sense for her. But then again, she actually might truly believe this because, again, I always say that the older generation had a different mindset when it came to marriage and love and obligation. It was very different to our generation, who romanticize love in a way that sometimes it's almost fanatical, it's fantastical, it's Disney sometimes, right? So we have to find a balance. But it almost sounds like, from my perspective, listening, that she's almost having to make it make sense for her. You know what I'm saying, Chu? By saying, oh, people sometimes over romanticize marriage and you have to make a decision. Well, why didn't she do that in the beginning? Why did she have to wait for her friend to say that? Since she knew that the man that she was after her from 2015 when he liked her and told her he wanted to be with her and she said no, why didn't she make that decision straight away? Why didn't she make pros and cons after her sister told her, this man, you need to make a choice? Because the reality is that wasn't actually the real choice you made. That wasn't the real issue. The issue was you weren't attracted, which is okay. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't keep up.
And what's attraction? Do you understand? It's such a subjective matter, right? For you to be this, I'm getting to part that, because the question is, what is the place?
Yes.
And I mentioned that there is a place.
There is.
So where is the place? That's where I'm getting to. First of all, marriage was not
But she's very intellectual. I love her
solely for companionship.
breakdown. She's a beautiful
It's
woman.
an added feature.
Yeah.
It was not created for simply intimacy. It was an added feature.
Yeah.
It was not created for. By the time I added feature, I mean like the sprinkles
Yeah.
that are on an ice cream.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Just good.
There is the meat of
Yeah.
it. Marriage was created by God for God. God has a reason for creating marriage.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the primary reasons for God creating marriage is a visual showcase of God's relationship with us.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, she's going to make a point here in the next few minutes about does God want us for attraction? No. But then why would he make attraction in the first place? Does God have sex with us? No. But there is intimacy that we have with him through worship and through prayer, right? So attraction has its place. It has its place of attracting us. That's the whole point of why it's called attraction. It draws us in. We are attracted to God because of what he can do and the fact that he is this amazing God. But it's God and man. These are two different theological states. Like this is a whole being that's supernatural, and we are natural, quote to say, right? Except obviously when we become born again and we have a spirit, but still we operate from a natural realm. So I'm not marrying a supernatural being. I'm marrying a natural being. So therefore there are natural tendencies that come along with that, one of them being attraction.
So if you are making your decision for marriage based on attraction, are you now saying that God should make his decision to marry us based on attraction? Because if our marriages are examples to the world, a showcase of how God should have a relationship with us,
Yeah.
so is attraction part of God's standard?
Yeah.
When God chose us
Based on
what the Bible says in Romans, while we're yet sinners, Christ died for us. That means in the most ugly state that we could ever possibly look, God still chose us and gave himself for us. And that's why in Ephesians, Paul will tell us that husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. And he says that I speak of a mystery, right?
Yeah.
But I speak of Christ and the church because one of the primary reasons marriage is created is to reflect Christ. So does your decision making reflect Christ? These are the things that we.
I mean, I would agree, but actually, her philosophy actually isn't necessarily wrong when it comes to, if we were to talk about this 2,000 years ago, her philosophy is not wrong. But because we're in 2025, there is an update. When I say update, it doesn't mean the scriptures are wrong. No, it means there's an update in the way that we look at it. We have a different lens in the way that we look at something. You see what I'm saying to you? So my lens is very different. That's why I said that from her perspective, her lens may be very different. Again, coming from a different culture and background, I can understand where this viewpoint is coming from. For our generation, I'm not making that decision. I'm going to marry someone that I think is fine as frick. She's going to be sexy to me, blood. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm going to be physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally, financially attracted. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah? Shiver me timbers, blood. When I see her, it's going to be mad. You know what I'm saying to you? Like I need to put things in place so that I don't have to even get too close because I don't want to be tempted beyond my means and my measure. That's the kind of baddie I'm looking for, blood. I'm looking for a Christian baddie to me. To me. Doesn't have to be to the rest of the world. To me. By the way, let me leave it there. What's your thoughts about this, guys? How do you see this? Is attraction important when it comes to marriage? Is it important for you? Like, and for the ladies, I want to hear your perspective. For the man, I want to hear your perspective. Are you graced to marry somebody you're not attracted to? Because it sounds like she's not attracted to the man. I'm going to be honest with you. And it doesn't sound like she's mistreating him or mistreating her. So, but I want to hear your perspective. But for me, I just want to say,
get out of here. Get out of here.
And you know I don't come in.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Let me know down below. I appreciate you.
You know what time it is.